ready?
Yep.
All right, Jotham.
Seth.
That's now introductions are out of the way. So I'm Seth Garden Swartz. I'm here with hosting the surefi vlog, and we're here today talking with Jotham at Bosque Brewing. And Bosque, if you don't know about Bosque, that means you probably don't live in New Mexico. You might not live in the northern hemisphere, as Bosque is one of the fastest growing brands in the New Mexico beer scene. Opening, it's technically the fourth tap room, right?
Fourth one here.
Yeah, this month. You got one more coming up in the not too distant future.
Yeah, well, we're opening our production facility at the end of the year, hopefully. So
right.
that'll actually be number 5.
Right, that'll be number 5, right? So it'll be tap room and a production facility. Yep. And in the last 12 months, also you have gone into the actual package business.
Yes.
So we've got 6-packs with leaves on them, like the growlers back here.
Yeah.
And so the business is booming.
Yeah, business is going crazy. We just opened another tap room 2 weeks ago in Las Cruces.
Yep.
And ended up doing something like 50% more business than we thought we would right out of the gate. And so we ended up
broke the internet.
Yeah. We did actually break the internet.
Yeah, you did break the internet. Yeah.
the router went down for sure. But
right.
no, we needed to hire more staff really quickly, and there were some definite growing pains. I think it was fine customer side, but internally we were all scrambling.
So Gabe, I was talking to Gabe about this a little minute ago, and he said, yeah, felt like for a while you were like pushing this boulder up the hill. It was really, really hard, and now you're like running so hard to try to get after the boulder on the other side. So that's the second worst problem you could be having right now.
Second worst, yeah.
Right. So cool. Well, so I wanted to just sort of talk to you about a couple things. One is the company's not very old.
Right.
Really, it's just a few years old.
We were founded in October. Well, yeah, October 2012 is when we opened.
Right. So how did you build the brand? Like what does the brand mean, or what do you want it to mean to the public out there?
Sitting down with my partners when we were getting going, we love the idea of the Bosque. It's the wooded river, the wooded area that runs along the river here in Albuquerque. And we noticed that a lot of people from all different walks of life would come to the Bosque to do family things, to run, to bike. Some people kayak there. There's all kinds of different things happening. But the one thing is, all people from different walks of life convene there. And so we wanted to do something similar with our tap room that was bringing the Bosque indoors. And
like as a metaphor, as a place that people can connect.
Well, yes, and also trying to recreate something physically that makes you feel some of that Bosque aesthetic in our tap room. So we have, a lot of like wood tones and very comfortable sort of environment.
Right.
So yeah.
No, it's funny you say that, because when I was just listening to the guy who invented the Irish pub in a box, and he was an architecture student. They studied like the architecture of all the best Irish pubs, and they figured out the common elements were. And so now you say that, and I've been in all your tap rooms, and not in the brand new one yet, but like you could walk in blindfolded and open your eyes and not see the sign, and you still know that you're in one of your tap rooms. So that's awesome.
And we're doing a lot of work towards making that even more cohesive as we go forward. So like our Nob Hill tap room is probably the one that's the most dissimilar to the other two. And we're in the process of expanding that one and adding the same furniture and the same aesthetic in there to really tie the 3 tap rooms together.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's amazing. And the other story that I actually heard out before we ever actually met was how you made a very conscious decision to work on the process of how people work in your business.
Right.
Tell me a little about that.
Well, we realized that when we were small, it was really easy for us to pass our culture on to the people that worked right alongside of us, because we were getting constant, daily interaction with those people.
Right.
And then as we started to grow, we realized, why are these people that are working in our other tap rooms making different decisions than we would make? Like what's happening here? So we took a step back and we started to identify the fact that we were a personality-based leadership, and we moved towards a values-based leadership. And so we spent a lot of time behind closed doors trying to distill what was important to us in the form of values. And so it's really, I think values are often like they're boring, and a lot of people
Right.
are like, oh, good, you got
Oh, yeah.
values.
Shoot, the
Right on.
values class. Got to relax. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
we really we live by them. We call them our framework for autonomy. So we have these things that if I'm going to make a decision, these are the filters that I run everything through.
Right.
And so we want each of our coworkers to have that same sort of framework to be able to say, I'm going to make a decision without somebody breathing down my neck. And then whenever we go to them and say, why'd you make that decision? They can say, well, I did it because it's in line with this value, this value, this value. And it gives us something that we can, I can go talk to the people in Las Cruces or the people in Nob Hill or the people at San Mateo, and they should all have that same sort of like compass to guide them.
Right.
And that was kind of our I don't know, does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More. So,
Okay.
so do you feel like you get more decisions that are what you would have made, or do you feel like you get different decisions, but within a framework of things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of?
I think that we're on the right track. So that is something that took us a long time to figure out, and then now, like, once we kind of nailed it down, we started passing that, out company wide. Then we went through a major growth spurt with launching our package line,
Right.
which, caused this really big growing pains in our organization. And then we just opened Las Cruces, and like I said, it caused even more growing pains. So now we're over 100 employees, and so disseminating that information to so many different people is becoming more difficult.
Right.
And so I'd say that it's still a work in process, but that that it has shown a lot of fruit.
Right.
With something that the guys in the brewery live by,
Right.
and the guys in the kitchen live by, and then the staff in the front of house lives by, and the distro guys live by. So it's real.
You think about that. They all seem like they're separate, but from a consumer point of view, it's all part of this experience. Like you walk in, someone greets you. The glass was clean, the food was hot, the beer was what you expect. Was fantastic, and person could talk to you about it, and not like, oh, this guy's in the kitchen.
But it's funny because you're really trying to tie together so many different personalities and so many people that, like people that thrive in the kitchen
Right.
often don't thrive up front. Like
Right.
people that thrive in the brewery
Right.
don't necessarily thrive in distro. So you're really dealing with a big, wide, diverse group of personalities.
Right.
And so they have direct reports that they have to answer to, and
Right.
those people are very different. And so how do you say, okay, there's 100 people that are all very, very different and unique and have unique perspectives and all that, and hope that person will make the same decision I will make.
Right.
And so that's why we had to
Right.
put all that together.
Well, congratulations on seeing that need and opportunity earlier than a lot of businesses do.
It's always a group think around here. We don't I can't take any credit for that, but we definitely it's always for a long time it was a reaction to problems. We felt like we were constantly reacting.
Right.
Okay, something's going wrong. Now what do we do?
Right.
And so what we were really trying to do under the leadership of Gabe, our managing director, is try to figure out how can we be less reactionary and more proactive.
Right.
And I think that was the kind of the catalyst for a lot of that growth.
Right. And so in addition to the that sort of taproom centered growth, you're now selling. Now I can go to the local liquor store and get a 6-pack of Bosque, and even get growlers not at a Bosque taproom. Tell me about Tell me about that process.
Well, we've been self-distributing for the last couple of years, and so we were doing primarily just draft sales throughout New Mexico. It was really Albuquerque and Santa Fe were our main focus areas, although we did have some traction in Taos.
Right.
But then whenever we went ahead and launched our package line, it was clear to us that we weren't going to be able to get the reach that we really wanted, and so we signed on with a distributor that has taken over most of our package, and actually they're taking over all of our package and like big chain accounts that we couldn't get into,
Right.
and then everything outside of Albuquerque, Santa Fe. So our beer is available in, almost everywhere throughout the state now.
Right.
At least in package form.
Right. It's 6-pack form.
6-pack, yeah,
Right.
sorry. And then we also have draft accounts, and like Roswell is now our number 3 or number 4 market.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Roswell, New Mexico, yeah. So, but anyway, they've been a really great partner for us to get this beer just out to the masses of New Mexico.
The masses, yeah.
Masses.
It's all relative,
It's
right?
all
Yeah,
relative,
you're
yeah.
right.
But yeah, so that's where we're at right now with them, and that's part of that's been kind of our story as far as what how our distribution is taken off. But
Right.
we want to retain our self distribution here in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, because a lot of these clients are personal relationships of ours,
Right.
and our distro team really prides themselves on, they just do a great job at draft. So their
Right.
customer service is high. They're always keeping lines clean. They're they're on time, and
So it's part of the experience for those,
Right.
like their customers too, like
Exactly.
the on-premise accounts,
Exactly.
right? So how does tell me about the relationship between, like, how do you think about your tap rooms as they relate to building the brand for package and other on-premise accounts?
we call it the whirlpool, and so the whirlpool is part of the brewing process. Like where
Right.
they spin the wort that after the hops have been boiled, and a lot
Right.
of the oils and stuff have been extracted. Anyway, all that stuff settles down at the bottom. But I don't remember who came up with that, but we call it the whirlpool. Anyway,
It's cool. They have them in the Bosque. Right? There's some little whirlpools
Yeah.
right there, so you get some meta action going.
that's cool.
Right.
But anyway, the idea is that people will experience Bosque in several different ways. They'll either experience Bosque for the first time through a packaged product, or a draft product at a different account that's not our own,
Right.
or a unique event. And we put on a lot of different unique events, or the tap room, and that those things all feed each other. So we want the experience that they have with a packaged product to not only feed them to a unique event or to our tap room, but to also go a little further down the whirlpool and deepen the customer engagement. So we feel like all those things kind of work together synergistically to bring somebody into a deeper relationship with us.
Right. No, that's cool. So that gives you the ability to experience the brand. There's a couple different entry points, and at least until initially it was just the tap rooms, right? It was the only, so you sort of came to the mother, like this was the first tap room.
Right.
The brewery's right there. The restaurants, the tap room's next door. So you come in next to the brewery, drink the beer, full experience, and then there's another tap room. So you can, if you live on that side of town or if you're over there, you can do that. And now you can go sort of. So if I started in the tap room, I might in the liquor store say, "Oh, there's that leaf." I remember that great time I had at the tap room.
Right.
And how do you think about? I mean, every brewery has a couple core beers, 1 or 2 SKUs that represent like an enormous chunk of the business. How important is it to you to have customers experience some other options?
I want people to drink what they like, but I think that's one of the things that makes the brewing industry so fun, is that there's a bunch of different beers that you would never taste. Like right now we have a beer on that's a saison that's been brewed with Sauvignon Blanc grape juice as well. Why? Because it sounds like a really interesting flavor combination,
Right.
and we're going to try it, and it's great,
Right.
And so I think there's
Like your summer stout, we tried that last summer
stout.
too. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think of people kind of like myself. Like, I'm a creature of habit.
Right.
I'm probably going to drink an IPA almost everywhere I go.
Right.
But then I do want people to be able to like experience the different, out of the box kind of beers that we produce, and to have fun doing that, but then also to have something to fall back on.
Right. So they got to, yeah. I think it's really. I was telling you the story, and I was telling it to Gabe the other day or just today about meeting someone here who said, I want something light, and so she ordered a light colored beer, and I ordered seasonal because I always want something different.
Yeah.
And she's like, God, your beer was better. Like,
Yeah.
or I liked
Yeah.
it. She didn't say it was better. She said, I liked it better.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, well, it's a English style, pale ale. So
Right.
it's lower hopped and, it's more amber colored, but, you're drinking a lager, which is a little bit higher on that particular one, a little higher on the hop scale.
Yeah.
And she was like super excited about it. She's like, well, I want to get some more of that. I was like, well, it's a seasonal, so you should probably drink it now.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because she suddenly was much more engaged in sort of the process of being part of the craft community. And I swear, an hour earlier, she said, "How do you feel about being part of the craft community?" She would look at you like you were crazy. But now she's engaged. I think she's more interested in trying stuff.
I think that's one of my favorite things is to watch people make a transition from, maybe they drink just domestic beer all the time, or
Right.
the mass-produced stuff, and then they get a chance to try, one of our beers or one of the beers from one of our, brewery companions or compatriots or whatever, around the city, and they realize that there's all these different types of flavors that they really enjoy,
Right.
but they wouldn't have ever tried those things had they not been kind of pushed and nudged a little bit.
Right. Someone dragged them in
Yeah.
or brought the six pack over.
Yeah.
So that brings me. So how do you look at the like Albuquerque actually has a fair amount of breweries per capita, but everyone seems to be growing. How do you look at your place in that community? Where's Bosque fit in? What's your role? I mean, do you think of the other breweries as competitors, as fellow conspirators to grow the craft industry?
So, there's that old adage that when the tide rises, all the boats rise.
Right.
So I think, the more we can continue to make New Mexico's beer name better,
Right.
the better it is for all of us here. But truthfully, I don't really feel like we're competing with people. We're really competing with ourselves more than anything. Everything that we do is constantly trying to outdo what we did last time.
Right.
And so, yeah, the other breweries are competitors in a sense.
Right.
They're also friends in a sense.
Right.
And
Pretty
and
friendly,
and,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
colleagues and all that. But really, I don't really put a lot of stake in what everybody else is doing. It's more for us about what we can do to outdo what we did last time.
Right. Cool. What's the if somebody was either about to open a brewery or about to open going from 1 to 2 or 2 to 4 locations or starting a good package, what's the little piece of wisdom that you'd like to or warning you'd like to impart? What did you know? What do you know now that you wish you'd known before?
That it's infinitely more difficult, more time consuming, and requires much more capital than you ever thought. And I think that's the big thing. I think it's really important to build your team. If you don't have a strong team that has strengths that complement each other,
Right.
I think you'll find yourself in a world of hurt as well. We have a really strong leadership team right now.
Right.
I think, and we've worked a lot to really make sure that our strengths complement each other. And if you don't have a person that is pushing vision, then you won't accomplish much.
Right.
But if you don't have somebody that's walking behind that person and saying, "How are we going to get there?"
Right.
Well, that's a great idea, but how are we going to put that together?
Right.
Then you'll have trouble as well. The other thing too is I think hiring a high caliber brewer
Right.
is about as important as it can possibly be at this point.
Right.
Gone are the days where you can where you can just be a pretty decent home brewer and but don't understand the commercial side of things.
Right.
And then just hop in and
So to speak, hop in.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and then make really great beer like a lot of the people. Because I mean, this market, there are great brewers all over the place. Guys that are super high caliber, guys and girls that are super high caliber, that are killing it whatever they're doing.
Right.
And it's a different. I mean, because we started as home brewers, right? And it was very evident to us very quickly that we need somebody that knows what they're doing because they've studied this craft for a long time and they understand the manufacturing side of this business as opposed to just the creative side of the business.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah, it's one thing to it's like cooking for your friends and cooking for 100 people. Right?
Exactly.
It's a
they're two different things.
Not vaguely similar, but not the same.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, what's two more questions, and then we'll go back to work. So one is, what's next?
Well, I mean, we've got 2 major irons in the fire right now. We're trying to expand Nob Hill.
Right.
So that's a big one.
Right.
And then our production facility is under construction right now as well, so that should open. So those are
pretty big.
Those are big. Yeah. Those are my 2. That's what I have all my focus on right now. So.
Right. Okay. So tell me what your favorite Bosque beer is and why.
My favorite Bosque beer. I have so many. I mean, I really think that John. I would tell him all the time that he ruined beer for me because, I get to drink beer that's days old.
Right.
All the time. So it doesn't matter what style it is. It's
right.
days old in my tap room, and I know these guys are cleaning the lines impeccably every time. So it's just.
That is true.
The
so this week, what's your favorite one this week? Spring starting.
What I was going to say, I drink our IPA a lot. I really like it because we tend towards the juicier side of the hops. But we get to do a Sequia every year, which is a wet hop beer. So we bring down hops that have just been picked, and we use them between 24 and 48 hours after they've been picked.
Right.
And it's so cool because we brew this beer in the brewery, and you can smell that like field or hop field aroma, like in this whole complex.
Right.
And so then I have that kind of experience sitting in my mind every time I drink a pint of that. So I would say that's one of my favorite ones because it only comes around once a year.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and it's a wet hop beer, and the name is derived from a water irrigation. Like that's a great.
My
example.
My friends up in Portland, they all get access to fresh hops a lot more than we do.
Right.
And so you go into different breweries and they've got a fresh hop pale ale and a fresh hop Keller beer and fresh, all these different fresh hop beers. And I'm like, here in New Mexico, we get it one shot.
Right. Cool. All right, Jonathan, thanks a ton.
Cool.
Do this again.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.